The Art of Giving. Discover how late-night tacos led to an incredible life-changing surprise. The scent of sizzling meat and fresh cilantro wafted through the air, wrapping around Jamie like a warm embrace. Her late-night taco stand was more than just a food truck, it was the heartbeat of the town. Every evening, as the stars twinkled above the Texas sky, Jamie poured her soul into crafting each taco, its delicate warmth reflecting her love for her two kids, Mia and Tyler. She had once dreamed of a different life, a cozy home filled with laughter, but now she was just trying to make ends meet, juggling 2 minimum-wage jobs and the weight of her world on her shoulders. Every taco she served felt like a little spark of joy, a fleeting escape for locals seeking comfort after a long day. Jamie smiled widely as she chatted with her regulars. Ms. Willow, with her background in teaching, always dropped by to encourage Jamie's dreams, while Mark, the local mechanic, never failed to flash a smile and leave an extra tip. They shared laughter, gossip, and sometimes a heart-to-heart about their struggles, their voices rising in a chorus of hope. But with every heartfelt conversation, Jamie felt the sting of judgment from those who underestimated her, their sideways glances aimed at her worn-out shoes and faded clothes. The whispers of disdain echoed in her mind, wooing her into the shadows of despair. And yet, her taco stand was like a beacon of light. She refused to let the weight of societal prejudice dim her spirit. That night, as the glow of her stand illuminated the dark street, Jamie's phone buzzed with alarming news about her father, a Vietnam veteran who had always been her rock. He was in critical condition, and her heart sank. Suddenly, in one fell swoop, everything began to spiral out of control. Bills stacked high with too many demands pulling her in every direction made the world feel like it was weighing heavily on her chest. Would she care for her children, run her stand, or sit by her father's side? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the festival to celebrate tacos approached, Jamie knew she had to swallow her pride. She could sense the town rallying behind her, creating flyers, gathering donations, but the anxiety of Tony, the arrogant new taco truck owner, loomed over her every thought. Would they really champion her, or would his flash and pizzazz outshine her hard work? Then came the night that broke her heart. News of her father's deteriorating condition hit her like a freight train, and panic flooded her veins. How could she abandon her father when her community needed her? Standing in the glow of her stand, the laughter of children and the vibrant sounds of celebration rang clear, yet it felt unbearable to her. In that moment, Jamie stood at a tangled crossroads, a mix of love, fear, and hope weighing against her. Would her community stand firm, or had she stretched too far? Nothing felt certain as she prepared for the festival night ahead. Everything hung delicately in the air, waiting to break or soar. As the vibrant taco festival approached, Jamie wrestled with every emotion swirling around her. She could hear the distant hum of music on the wind, a joyful sound that seemed to mock her pain. The laughter that filled the air felt so far away from the worry consuming her. In her heart, she knew she had to be at the festival, yet her father's condition loomed like a dark cloud. With Mia and Tyler sleeping in the back of the truck, Jamie stood outside for a moment, the cool night air brushing against her cheeks. She spotted Ms. Willow walking towards her stand, her usual smile replaced with genuine concern. The older woman approached, wrapping an arm around Jamie's shoulder, grounding her for just a fleeting second. "Jamie, are you okay? You seem different tonight," Ms. Willow said softly, her eyes warm with understanding. "I don't know if I can do this, Ms. Willow," Jamie whispered, the words spilling out in a rush. "My dad, he's not doing well. I want to be there for him, but this festival, the town needs me." "Sweetheart, you've already given so much. You're the heart of this community. Just remember, you don't have to carry it alone. Ms. Willow squeezed Jamie's shoulder, a silent strength reminding her that community and family intertwined. But deep inside, the same dread rippled through her. What if she failed? What if the festival was a disaster, just like everything else in her life? She swallowed hard, her throat tight with emotion. Yet, just as those doubts settled, she recalled the glimmers of support from familiar faces. The festival kicked off with a bang, music pouring through the streets, long tables adorned with colorful decorations, laughter riding the night breeze. Yet as she prepared her tacos, a storm churned within her. She sliced fresh avocados, chopped cilantro, but her mind would drift back to her father's face. Would he even know how much she loved him if she was out here serving? A few hours in, as dusk spiraled into night, Tyler bounded up to her, a bright smile lighting his face, holding a small trophy that gleamed under the festival lights. "Mom! I won the pie-eating contest. Look!" His innocence and joy sparked something within her, a light that flickered against the dark heaviness. "Wow! That's incredible, buddy!" She cheered, genuinely touched. In that moment, their laughter intertwined, momentarily drowning out all fear and heartbreak. But just as Jamie felt herself pull back from the edge of despair, a commotion erupted near Tony's flashy taco truck. Her heart raced when she recognized the figure of Ms. Willow standing her ground against the new taco truck owner, her voice rising above the cheers. "We believe in Jamie. We want her." Jamie's breath caught, her heart swelled at the sight of so many loyal faces rallying behind her fellow townies, most of whom had tasted her food and comforted her in her darkest days. Would they truly stand behind her? Before she knew it, there was a crowd gathered around her, shouting her name. "Jamie! Jamie!" It was a wave of love and support crashing against her doubts. And in that moment, as she looked into their hopeful faces, she realized that perhaps this wasn't just about her father, or the festival. It was about everyone coming together, sharing their burdens, their joys. But then, she noticed a shadow lurking at the edge of the crowd, the unmistakable figure of Tony, glaring with jealousy and fury. She could feel the weight of the moments ahead. The festival might be her chance to shine, but it could turn into a battle too. What would happen next? Would she stand and fight for her place and her father, or would she let fear pull her back into the shadows? The energy in the air was electric as the crowd erupted in support of Jamie. Cheers cascaded around her, wrapping her in a comforting embrace. Each shout of her name sent ripples of warmth through her, pushing back the weight of doubt that had settled like a thick fog. She took a deep breath, steeling herself as she stepped forward towards the throng of faces. Could she really do this? Could she stand against Tony's fierce glare? "Thank you," she called out, her voice carrying a mix of nerves and warmth. The crowd quieted, eyes fixed on her. I never expected this kind of support. It means more than you know." The cheers grew louder, but she could see Tony sneering at the edge of the group. His expression turned from anger to smug disdain. "All this for a nobody," he muttered, loud enough for Jamie to hear. Her heart sank for a brief moment. How could she confront this? But then she remembered her father's smile during a particularly hard day, his laughter breaking through the clouds of worry. "I'm not nobody," she declared, her voice gaining strength. "I'm Jamie. I'm a chef, a daughter, a friend, and I'm here for all of you." She pointed toward Ms. Willow, who beamed back at her, pride spilling over onto her wizened face. "Let us show Tony what real community looks like." Someone from the crowd shouted, inspiring others to echo the sentiment. Jamie felt the urge to lift her hands, to wave and invite them to join her. This was her moment, and she was ready to embrace it. With every taco she served afterward, her confidence grew. Words of encouragement swept past her, each compliment adding to her resolve. "You've outdone yourself," one festival-goer exclaimed. Another declared, "This is the best taco I've ever tasted." Jamie's heart soared as laughter and stories filled the space around her. But in the midst of her success, she couldn't shake the image of her father from her mind. Is he okay? She wondered, worry creeping back in. Would he be proud of her if he could see this? The smile on her face gave way to a flicker of sadness as she caught fleeting glimpses of the reality beyond the festival hospital visits, cold nights, and the fragility of life. Time for a break. Mia chimed in, tugging at her sleeve, her sweet little face filled with concern. Last she saw, Mia had been tirelessly helping her, but wasn't an easy task for such a young girl. Let us go check on Grandpa. Okay, sweetie, Jamie replied, momentarily torn between two worlds. Let us go. As they approached the truck where her father rested, Jamie felt anticipation and dread twist her stomach. She hadn't been able to focus on him this evening, and guilt gnawed at her. What if he was sleeping peacefully? What if he needed her? When they arrived, they found him sitting up, watching the festival from the window with a faint smile. You made it. He called out, his voice weak but filled with affection. Her heart raced at the sight of him, joy rushing over her like a wave. Dad. She knelt beside him, taking his hand in hers. I missed you. Did you hear the crowd? They're all supporting me. His eyes twinkled as he nodded, though Jamie could see the fatigue etched across his face. I heard. I knew you could do it. He squeezed her hand lightly, a smile breaking through despite the tiredness. Just then, the cheers erupted again from outside, reverberating into the truck. Jamie! Jamie! Rang out, igniting something deeply rooted within her. And in that moment of connection, Jamie realized that this was a battle she could win not just against Tony but in her own heart. But as she looked up and through the window, she spotted Tony approaching, a dark cloud looming behind him. What would he do next? Would he challenge her, or even try to sabotage everything she'd built tonight? Tony's confidence dripped from him like oil, slick and condescending. He walked towards the truck, cutting through the cheering crowd like a knife through butter. Jamie's heart quickened, the support she felt not moments ago now felt distant and fragile. She glanced at her father, the gentle warmth in his eyes seemed to urge her forward. Don't let him get to you, he whispered, squeezing her hand just a bit tighter. It felt like armor. Are you going to keep hiding in there? Tony called out, his voice loud and biting. You think a few tacos will save your kingdom? It's pathetic. He smirked, relishing the impact of his words. Maybe you should show a little respect, Jamie replied, stepping out from behind the door, her voice steady in the face of his aggression. The crowd fell silent, tension crackling in the air. She felt every set of eyes on her. People are coming together, having fun, and celebrating each other. I won't let you ruin that. Celebrating? Is that what you call this circus? Tony scoffed, glaring at her. I call it sheer delusion. They'll forget about you once the last taco is eaten and the last cheer has faded. Her breath hitched at his words. Could he be right? What if this was all just a fleeting moment? But she held on to her father's gaze, steady and reassuring, a lighthouse in a storm. What's your idea of a successful festival, Tony? She shot back, recalling the countless times he dismissed her ideas at the award meetings, always shooting them down with arrogance. More overpriced food and empty booths? This, she gestured toward the lively crowd, this is real. This is a community that believes in itself. Behind her, the crowds began to stir. Whispers of support circulated among festival goers, mixing with the scent of sizzling tacos and hope. Jamie could feel the tide changing in her favor, a soft murmur rising too as a choir of voices rallied behind her. You're all just using her, Tony hissed, turning to face the crowd. You're all being fooled. But his words lost their potency as laughter erupted from a nearby group, where people proudly tasted Jamie's tacos, their faces bright with delight. The realization washed over the crowd they were caught in something real, something that mattered. They weren't just here to fill their stomachs, they were here to lift each other. Wrong. We're here to support Jamie. Someone shouted, igniting more voices to join in. Cheers erupted, drowning Tony's sneer in an avalanche of enthusiasm. You'll regret this, Tony sneered, stepping back, the venom in his voice finally falter from the unity he saw against him. It's not over yet. Then bring it on. Jamie shouted, adrenaline coursing through her veins. With Tony retreating, the crowd roared in applause, the weight of uncertainty beginning to lift. Jamie turned back to her father, relief spreading across her face. Did you see that? She asked, barely able to comprehend the moment. He smiled, pride and concern mingling in his gaze. You did good, Jamie, real good. But even as she celebrated, a nagging thought loomed in the back of Jamie's mind. Was she ready for whatever Tony planned next? A deep breath filled her lungs, and she thought of the strength fluttering in her heart, a strength built by her father's unwavering love and the community rallying around her. But she also knew Tony wasn't done. The taste of victory was sweet, but the shadows of doubt remained. What will he do next? And how can she prepare herself for a battle not just for tacos, but for her place in the community? The festival buzzed around Jamie like a living organism, its pulse quickening with every cheer and laughter that rippled through the crowd. But as she stood there, exhilaration battling with residual anxiety, she felt the looming shadow of Tony's words creeping back into her thoughts. Are you okay? Her father's voice broke through her spiraling thoughts, catching the look of uncertainty etched on her face. I think so, she replied, still processing the moment. But what does he mean when he says it's not over? I can feel that look in his eyes. He's planning something. Her father's grip tightened once more. Then let us be ready for it. Remember, you've rallied these people behind you. They believe in you, and that's powerful. Jamie took a moment, drawing strength from her father's words. The crowd was still celebrating, and each joyous cheer meant more than just tacos, it represented hope, connection, and resilience. Praise poured from every corner as people complimented her food, her creativity, and her spirit. Yet, the dread lurking in her mind refused to flicker out. She spotted Marta, a local mentor and small business owner, moving through the crowd. Jamie. You were incredible out there. You really stood up to him. Marta beamed, her voice effusive. Thanks, Jamie replied, forcing a smile, though a knot twisted in her stomach. But I can't shake this feeling that he'll come back swinging. Marta's expression shifted to one of concern. Listen, this community isn't going anywhere. Keep doing what you're doing. Let them see how amazing you are. As Marta moved on to mingle with other attendees, Jamie caught sight of her best friend, Lucy, bounding towards her with an excitement that couldn't be contained. Did you see Tony's face? He didn't know what hit him. She laughed, her eyes sparkling with joy. That was just the first round, Jamie said, her voice tinged with worry. But you handled it. We've never seen you do that before. Lucy exclaimed, pumping her fist in the air. You're the taco queen. The uplifted spirit of her friends began to soothe Jamie's anxiety. The allyship in the crowd was palpable. Maybe, just maybe, she could harness this energy, this support, to turn the tide for good. In that moment of shared laughter, a sudden commotion at the edge of the festival caught everyone's attention. Jamie turned, and her heart dropped as she saw Tony storming back, flanked by two of his friends, their faces twisted in contempt and determination. Here we go, she muttered, steeling herself for another confrontation. You think this is going to stop? Tony shouted, voice dripping with sarcasm. You're all fools if you think this taco festival actually means something. You're playing in the kiddie pool while the real world is outside. You're destined to fail, Jamie. It's not the size of the pool that matters, Tony, she shot back, regaining her composure. It's the people swimming in it. And we are thriving. His glare intensified as if trying to wield authority, but the murmurs of support from the crowd sparked courage in Jamie's heart. You think you can break this community? You're wrong. We're stronger together. The crowd echoed her sentiment, voices rising in defiance against Tony's taunts. Yet, lurking beneath the surface was uncertainty. What will it take for him to back off? Jamie wondered silently, the intensity of her heart hammering in her chest. She sensed a battle was brewing, not just for tacos, but for their sense of belonging and for her dream. But what Tony didn't see was the love and loyalty binding everyone together, a force that could stand against any storm. As he spat out more insults, Jamie could feel the resolve of those around her. The festival was alive, and though uncertainty tinged the air, Jamie's spirit ignited to fight for her place and those who believed in her. How will I prepare? She questioned herself, looking at her father and Lucy, all ready to give her strength. Just then, moments before the next exchange erupted, a sudden sound rang out in the distance, the unmistakable sound of sirens. The crowd quieted, confusion unfolding like a delicate flower. What now? Jamie whispered, worry gnawing at her again. As the sirens drew closer, suspicions arose about what was really happening. The sense of impending confrontation loomed larger than ever, and with it, an urgent question formed: could this festival withstand the surprises coming its way? The sirens wailed as they approached, cutting through the electric atmosphere of the festival. Jamie's heart skipped, her breath hitching in her throat. People exchanged worried glances, the joyous celebration fading into an undercurrent of fear and confusion. She instinctively grasped her father's arm tighter, feeling the muscle tension beneath his shirt. What do you think it is? Lucy asked, her eyes darting to the entrance of the park. The once colorful banner strung up high seemed to dim under the weight of the unknown. Maybe it's just a misunderstanding, Jamie attempted to reassure herself more than anyone. But her voice shook, betraying her emotions. The gleeful laughter from moments earlier felt like a distant memory. Tony noticed the crowd's shift and grinned, his confidence seemingly fueled by their unease. This is what happens when you throw a party without listening to reality. He shouted, taking a step forward, ready to revel in their discomfort. He raised a hand as if to signal his cohort to join him in mocking the festival. But then, a police cruiser slid to a halt just beyond the festival's main area, lights spinning in a wild display of red and blue. Jamie's breath caught again, and she felt the unease ripple through the crowd. People murmured, fear creeping into their hearts. Out of the car stepped two officers, their uniforms crisp against the casual attire of the festival-goers. Jamie gained the courage to take a step forward, curiosity mixing with dread. What is going on? She called out, her voice shaking but determined. One officer, a tall man with kind but firm eyes, approached her. We've received reports of disturbances in the area. He scanned the crowd, taking in the scene. But it looks like you're all having a celebration. We need to ensure everyone's safety. It's just a taco festival. Jamie exclaimed, feeling her protective instincts rising. We're all here for fun and community. Fun is great, but safety comes first. We just want to make sure nothing escalates. The officer's tone was calming, and Jamie could feel the crowd exhale their collective breath. Tony scoffed, his eyes rolling. See? Even the cops think you're a joke. He moved to the side, his friend snickering as if that gave him strength. Jamie halted as her thoughts collided with anger. Listen, this festival is about more than tacos. It's about unity, family, and creating a safe place for each other. You don't get that, do you, Tony? This isn't a joke. With each word, she felt the courage born from her connections with the community, solidifying in her heart. She turned to the crowd again, a wave of solidarity washing over her. We aren't backing down. This celebration represents our love for this community. We deserve to share our passion and honor our dreams together." The crowd burst into applause, voices rising in a harmonious blend of support. Even with the officer's presence, Jamie felt a surge of hope. She looked at her friends, her father, and the familiar faces of the townsfolk. They supported her unconditionally. "I'll tell you what," the officer said, taking a step back. "If the crowd here is peaceful, we'll back you up. We just need some assurance." The tension dissipated into warm smiles and cheers, community members linking arms. As if renewed with spirit, they lifted Jamie's voice, chanting, "Taco Queen! Taco Queen!" Just then, from behind the crowd, a figure stepped forward, one Jamie didn't expect. A local council member, a woman whose face had been heavily involved in the town's affairs, known to stand against those who threatened the community. "What's this I hear?" She raised an eyebrow at Tony, cementing her authority. Jamie's heart raced. Was this the turning point? Would they finally rally together against Tony's hostility? But in that very moment, another twist started to unfold. A figure in the back of the crowd caught Jamie's eye, and her heart raced at the sight. Could it be? "What does he want?" Jamie whispered to herself, anxiety creeping back. Everything in her screamed to prepare for more than just tacos. A new chapter was about to open, one filled with more than just culinary dreams. What did this familiar face mean for the unfolding drama and her fight to protect her community? Questions surged like waves, leaving Jamie wondering, could this moment change everything? Jamie's heart raced as she squinted through the crowd, trying to make sense of the figure looming near the back. The dim glow of festival lights flickered across a face that sent a jolt of disbelief through her. It was Alex, her childhood friend, the one who had left town years ago for college and had only come back in rare waves of nostalgia. "What are you doing here?" Jamie shouted, surprise and incredulity mingling in her tone. Alex stepped forward, a hesitant smile crossing his face that made Jamie's heart swell and ache at the same time. "I heard there was a taco festival. I couldn't resist." His casual tone was a stark contrast to the tension in the air. The joy of seeing him momentarily muted the fear that had loomed over the event just moments earlier. But as Jamie looked more closely, she noticed the weariness in his eyes, a hint that he had been through struggles of his own. "Is everything okay?" she asked, concern weaving its way into her voice. "Yeah, well, sort of. I've got a few things to work through, but seeing all of you here, it means a lot," he said, briefly glancing around the crowd, soaking in the sense of community. Before Jamie could respond, Tony burst into laughter, breaking the moment. "Look who it is. The lost little sheep returns to play amongst the tacos." His mocking tone pierced the air like a cold wind, and Jamie felt a surge of protectiveness igniting once again. "Shut up, Tony!" Jamie snapped, her voice sharp with fervor. "This is about more than tacos, and you know it." "Then why did he come back? To join the circus?" Tony sneered. The crowd, still humming with the afterglow of cheering for Jamie, began to quieten, their eyes flitting back and forth between Jamie and Tony. Jamie felt a flicker of doubt. Would Alex feel the pressure weigh him down? In an unexpected move, Alex stepped alongside Jamie, his gaze steady as he faced Tony. "No, I'm here because I care about this town. I care about these people," he stated, his voice rising above the murmurs. "This is where I grew up. This is where I learned the value of community." Jamie felt pride swelling deep within her, and she turned to the crowd. "You see? This is who we are, a united front. No one can tear that apart." Tension shifted, and the crowd erupted once again in supportive shouts. Jamie felt a renewed sense of bravery. But as Alex stood there, the weight of his past seemed to burden him more than the pressure of the situation they were in. "Look," Alex continued, pacing slightly, "this has to stop. All the fighting and the negativity. We need to come together, not just for this festival, but for what we stand for as a community. The police officers shared quick glances, noticing the impact of Alex's words. Jamie swallowed hard, emotion swelling in her chest. She understood now, he was right. The struggle was bigger than tacos, it was about belonging and purpose, finding a way to heal the fractures within their community. As the crowd nodded and murmured in agreement, Jamie knew a decision had to come. She inhaled deeply, feeling the moment could shift their narrative. How do we make sure everyone is safe? How do we safeguard what we cherish, the love and acceptance of our community? Just as she finished speaking, a small child broke free from a cluster of adults, tugging on Jamie's hand. Can we have the tacos now? The little girl asked with hopeful eyes. Everyone laughed, the tension melting back into joy, but Jamie felt a surge beyond that. The struggle with Tony, the burdens Alex bore, the fear from the police all faded in that moment, overshadowed by the innocence of a child who only wanted to enjoy the festival. As laughter bubbled up around them, Jamie realized she had the power to turn this all around. Together, they could rally for their community, not just for this festival, but for their future. Let us start with the tacos. She rallied, her voice ringing clear. And how about we make a pact? No fighting today. We'll share our stories, our laughter, and of course our tacos. Everyone cheered again, the spirit of celebration igniting anew. Yet, Jamie glanced back at Alex, whose smile was softer now, but the weight in his eyes had not faded. What secrets lay behind that look? What did he carry that could change everything? As the crowd began to surge toward the taco stalls, Jamie pondered the journey ahead. The end of this festival might not just be a reflection of tacos and joy. It might hold secrets that could redefine everything for her and Alex. She resolved to find out what it all meant. They had taken a stand today, but what challenges still lay ahead? Would she be ready for whatever came next? The aroma of sizzling tacos drifted through the air, wrapping around Jamie like a warm hug. People laughed and clapped as they moved in unison toward the vibrant stalls painted in bright colors. The festival was alive again, and in that moment, Jamie felt a spark of hope. Did you ever think it would get this crazy? Alex leaned in closer, his voice just above the jubilant noise. The playful light in his eyes reminded Jamie of their childhood days, running together through the park, dreaming of everything that lay ahead. No, but I'm glad it did. Look around, everyone's here, smiling. It feels right, she replied, her heart lighter than just moments ago. Yet, beneath the joy, Jamie could sense something deeper was stirring in Alex. You've been gone a long time, she said, trying to tread carefully. What's been happening with you? A shadow crossed his face, but he quickly masked it with another smile. Just life things, you know. Figuring out where I fit in, what I want. But seeing this, being back, it helps. Jamie's heart ached. She wanted to reach out, to bridge the gaps she sensed in him, but she didn't know how. Instead, she turned them toward the taco stand where a small line had formed, each person eagerly anticipating their delicious treat. Just as they climbed closer, Jamie spotted Tony lingering nearby with a mixed group of friends. Look who's in the festive spirit, he called sarcastically, folding his arms. Hiding behind tacos, I see. Jamie clenched her jaw but didn't respond. Instead, Alex leaned toward Tony, unfazed. I'm not here to hide. I'm here to share. Maybe you could try it sometime. The playful challenge hung in the air, and Jamie could see the crowd around them shifted, leaning in with curiosity. The dynamic was changing. It was like old friends weren't just reuniting, they were peeling away layers of mistrust and misunderstanding. The taco line's for everyone, Tony, Jamie added, feeling emboldened with Alex beside her. Let's make this something we all enjoy. The icy humor in Tony's expression melted ever so slightly. He took a step back, taken aback by their unity. Jamie glanced at Alex again, determination sparking in her chest. Could this be a chance for reconciliation, not just for them, but for the whole town? Just then, a series of colorful balloons floated into the sky, bright specks against the evening sun, prompting cheers from the crowd. In that moment, laughter poured over the tension like a soothing balm. Children chased the balloons, and adults smiled, nostalgia washing over them as they recalled past fairs together. Before Jamie knew it, she was wrapping her arm around Alex's shoulder, pulling him closer to the heart of the festival. "Let us be part of this," she whispered. "Not just standing on the sidelines." As they approached the taco booth, vibrant flavors burst from the menu displayed. "What do you want?" Jamie asked. "I'll take a little of everything," Alex replied, a playful grin returning to his face. Making their way to the front, Jamie's stomach grumbled in anticipation. The unexpected connection with Alex, the laughter shared with the community, it filled her with warmth. "Here." A vendor handed them a plate piled high with tacos and an assortment of toppings. "Thank you." They chorused, and the vendor responded with a broad smile. Taking their first bites, they savored the flavors: crunchy, spicy, delicious. Jamie's eyes lit up as she turned back to Alex. This day just got brighter. But as Alex chewed slowly, his gaze drifted away, lost in thought. "You know, Jamie," he began hesitantly, "there's something I've been meaning to tell you, something that could change everything for us in this town." Her pulse quickened. What could be so revealing? Why did he look so serious? They had just embraced joy, after all. "Wait," she replied, placing a finger to her lips as if to silence the oncoming wave of revelation. "Can we have a moment before you unravel the universe?" Alex nodded, but Jamie felt the weight return, an urgency in the air that buzzed around both of them. "I just need a moment, Alex. The festival. The laughter, the tacos, can we wait? Just for now?" He smiled, but dark clouds lingered in his eyes. She could feel that whatever was coming could be as disruptive as it was transformative. "Of course," he said softly, but the heaviness of his secret hung palpable between them. As they walked through the festival, Jamie's heart raced with excitement and anxiety. The festival swirled around them, but her mind was already racing ahead, wondering what truth was waiting beneath the surface. And just as they neared the painted murals standing tall at the festival's edge, a loud shout cut through the air, drawing everyone's attention. Jamie turned, the crowd buzzing again. What was happening now? This day was just revealing itself layer by layer, and she couldn't shake the feeling that something big was about to unfold. The shout echoed, magnified by the excitement of the crowd. Jamie turned sharply, the plate of tacos nearly slipping from her grasp. A local performer had climbed atop a makeshift stage, his voice clear and commanding. He waved his arms dramatically, coaxing the audience to gather closer. Curiosity sparked in the onlookers, even Tony had stepped nearer, arms now uncrossed. "Ladies and gentlemen," the performer declared, "we're hosting a surprise raffle, an opportunity for one lucky winner to change their life tonight." The words rippled through the crowd, igniting a flurry of whispers and gasps. Jamie's heart raced. What could it be? A vacation? A new car? She stole a glance at Alex, whose expression mirrored her intrigue. Suddenly, it didn't just feel like a festival, it felt like the universe had conspired to deliver something great. The performer fished a vibrant box from behind him, filled with tickets. "You'll all get a chance to win. Just head over to that booth, and let us see who's lucky enough to take home a life-changing surprise." "Should we try?" Jamie asked Alex, her eyes sparkling with hope. "Why not?" he replied, his voice gleeful with a touch of mischief. "What do we have to lose?" They hurried toward the booth, threading their way through the animated crowd. Kids darted between adults, and others clutched their tacos, blending into a symphony of laughter and excitement. As they approached, Jamie dug into her pocket, fingers brushing against her phone. What if this something was a chance for everyone? When they reached the booth, the attendant welcomed them. "Everyone gets one ticket," she said, handing over a slip of paper that felt light in Jamie's palm. Fill it out, and let us see what fate has in store. Alex's grin was infectious, and for the first time, any trace of the shadow looming over him seemed to fade. They quickly filled out their names, hearts beating in rhythm with the festive music crescendoing around them. Out of nowhere, Jamie thought back to their childhood adventures, and her chest swelled with a sense of destiny. As they turned to leave the booth, Jamie spotted a small, colorful sign hanging above. "Don't forget to make a wish." It read, adorned with glitter and stars. Out of sheer spontaneity, Jamie closed her eyes, thinking hard about her hopes for the town, for Alex, for all of them to find healing. "What did you wish for?" Alex asked playfully, nudging her shoulder. "Can't tell you. It won't come true." She teased back, already feeling the thrill sparking between them. The performer's voice commanded attention once more. "And now, the moment we've been waiting for." The crowd drew closer, anticipation buzzing, the air thick as if charged with electricity. The performer announced the first ticket number, and the throng erupted into cheers as a woman in her 50s jumped up, her hands clasped to her chest. She had won a week-long stay at a beautiful lakeside cabin. The joy was palpable, carrying through the air, igniting the hearts of everyone around. "Okay," Alex said, his voice suddenly serious. "What if we win? Then we split it, right?" Jamie replied, not wanting the moment to turn heavy. "Sure. If we win, it'll be our adventure," he said, leaning in closer, a glimmer of hope reflecting in his eyes. The next ticket was drawn, and more cheers erupted. Yet Jamie's heart raced, and her mind spun. What if they did win? What would they do? Would that lead to more than just a weekend getaway? Suddenly, the next number echoed through the air. "And the final ticket in this first round is." The world around Jamie felt like it was closing in. The suspense felt unbearable. What if this was the moment everything changed? When the number was called, Jamie felt her breath hitch. Alex's reaction was just as intense. These could be the turning points they both needed. "Wait!" he exclaimed, grabbing Jamie's wrist, just as he realized they might hold the winning ticket. And before she knew it, the crowd was turning to face them, eyes wide, buzz growing louder. They were looking to Alex and Jamie, waiting for their response. Suddenly, a knot formed in Jamie's stomach. What if this was the moment that reshaped everything? What if she whispered, her voice barely audible? "Don't think too much," Alex urged, gripping her hand tighter. "Let us just see where this takes us." As they both stared at the crowd watching them, anticipation blended with fear. Something momentous hung in the air, waiting to be unveiled. Would tonight reveal the surprises their hearts yearned for? Or would it pull them in an unexpected direction, altering everything they thought they knew? The crowd buzzed with excitement as the announcer drew the final breath before revealing the winner of the big raffle. Jamie's heart raced as she stood next to Alex, holding their ticket tightly in her hand. The moment seemed to stretch forever. Would it be them? Would they finally get a break? "Here it comes!" the announcer shouted, and just like that, the world around them hushed. With a flourish, he read out the winning number, and Jamie felt her breath catch in her throat. It was theirs. The very numbers they had written down echoed in her mind like a sweet melody. Suddenly, the sea of faces turned towards them, a whirlwind of cheers and disbelief filling the space. "Did we really win?" Jamie whispered, her heart pounding wildly against her ribs. Alex's eyes sparkled with joy, almost disbelief. He laughed, throwing back his head, that carefree laughter she had missed so much. "We actually did." As the festival-goers began to swarm around them, clapping and cheering, Jamie felt a wave of love and support rush through her. It was no longer just about tacos or her little stand, it was about dreams coming true, connections made, and paths intertwining. "What do we do now?" she asked, turning to Alex, who held her gaze with a mix of anticipation and excitement. "Let us celebrate. We can figure out the details later," he suggested, and before she could process it, he wrapped his arms around her, lifting her slightly off the ground in exhilaration. Jamie laughed, feeling lighter than air. The worries about her father, Tony, and the challenges they all faded into the background as the overwhelming joy of the moment surged forward. The festival was not merely a stop, it had become a crossroads where dreams collided and reshaped. And just then, amidst the jubilation, Jamie caught a glimpse of Tony lurking at the edge of the crowd. His expression turned from shocked to furious as he watched the celebration unfold. But this time, she didn't feel fear, instead, she felt empowered. She had her community, her father's love, and newfound hope, all of which wouldn't be shaken easily. Let's talk to the council member, get them on board for the next round of the raffle. This festival can become even bigger. Alex suggested, drawing her attention away from Tony. Great idea. She agreed, her voice spilling over with enthusiasm. They made their way through the cheering crowd, waving and giving high fives to those around them, each gesture sealing the bond that had formed through the trials they faced. As they approached the council member, Jamie realized they weren't merely standing here as individuals, they were part of something larger. This was a celebration of unity and resilience that went beyond any taco stand. We'd like to put a little plan in motion for the future of the festival, Jamie started, her confidence rich and warm. Over the next hour, they brainstormed ideas that could turn the festival into an annual tradition, one that celebrated not just local cuisine but also community stories, health initiatives, and compassion towards one another. By the time the sun set, it felt like a spark had ignited within everyone present, a promise that they weren't alone in this struggle. As the sky turned to hues of pink and orange, Jamie took a moment to breathe it all in, glancing at the radiant smiles of her children, who were playfully engaging with friends. Her father sat contentedly nearby, watching her with pride. In that moment, she saw everything she had fought for crystallize into clarity. The love, the community, the tacos, they were their own family, interconnected by shared hopes and dreams. After a while, Alex caught her eye, and his smile radiated warmth that made her feel safe. Hey, can we step aside for a second? I really need to share what's been on my mind, he said, his voice slightly more serious now. Sure, she said, sensing the deeper gravity in his tone. They stepped away from the laughter and festivities into a quieter spot, where the sounds of the festival faded into the background. About my struggles, he began, I've been away for a while, and it's been tough figuring out who I am. And seeing you like this, standing strong, inspired me. His gaze locked onto hers, unwavering. I have a dream, Jamie, and I want you to be a part of it, both in my life and this community. Her heart raced, flutters of emotions coursed through her. What do you mean? He took a deep breath. I want to use my skills, my knowledge from school to help rebuild the community spirit. I want to open my own little place here, maybe a cafe combined with the taco stand, a space where everyone can gather, share stories, and bring their families. Joy danced in her chest, yet alongside it was a daunting reality, a future full of potential but uncertainty. Alex, that sounds amazing. But it's going to take a lot of work. I know, he said, but we'll do it together. And I want you by my side. We can face whatever comes our way. We can bring that spirit of tacos and community to life. Warmth spread through her as his words sank in. This was more than just a proposal. This was a promise, a shared journey bound to blossom in the heart of their town. All right. She said with a smile, her heart brimming with hope. Let us make it happen. Together. With newfound clarity, Jamie felt as if she had been given wings. The festival around them held a deeper meaning. It was a celebration, not just of tacos, but of resilience, community, and love, the best ingredients of all. As they headed back to join the festivities, gazes filled with optimism, Jamie glanced at her father. He sat surrounded by dear friends, laughter spilling forth, just alongside Mia and Tyler, happily indulging in the tacos that had crafted so much happiness. As she joined the crowd again, she felt the weight lift fully. This wasn't just a moment, this was the beginning of a journey. Together, she, Alex, and the community would write their story, a joyous tapestry woven through overcoming adversity, forging connections, and filling their lives with love and purpose. And as if to seal their fate, she held her tacos high, to the future. She cheered. The crowd cheered back in raucous delight, their voices blending into a beautiful melody. In that celebration, in that moment, Jamie knew this wasn't the end, this was only the beginning. Together, they would rise, and the heart of the community beat strong, ready for whatever came next. Now, if you've loved this incredible journey, subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss out on the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to help the algorithm and show your support. Trust me, it really makes a difference. Comment your thoughts and feelings about the conclusion of these lives intertwining. And oh, don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to feel this transformation alongside you. Let us keep spreading the joy.